Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on ClassIT Plus. We're just getting everybody a minute to join today's webinar from NMFTA. All right, we're going to go. I show just after 2 o'clock East Coast time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So just a reminder, there is a Q&A button at the bottom. So throughout the webinar, if you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions by entering the question in the Q&A. We will answer some questions during the webinar. We'll also answer questions at the end of the webinar. We have reserved some time to answer the questions. The main focus of the webinar is the ClassIT Plus application itself. We've also scheduled additional webinars where we talk about classification itself, in addition to an API webinar that's coming up that we'll talk a little bit more about. But this one is focused on the application itself. And so that is what we'll be talking about. So on the next slide, I'll do some introductions. So I am Joe Orr, the Chief Operating Officer at NMFTA. And with me today is Holly Taylor, who is Director of Product Management, who has been 100% focused on ClassIT Plus, and Sean Greenberg, who is Director of Engineering, who is leading the engineering effort on ClassIT Plus. Thank you, folks, for joining us today. So on the agenda, we're going to talk about the important dates to remember with ClassIT Plus. We're also going to talk about key resources that NMFTA has or is making available to help with classification. We're going to talk about ClassIT Plus highlights. And then probably the majority of the time will be Holly going through a ClassIT Plus demo. This is not wireframes or anything like that. Or a slide deck. This will be Holly actually going into a live site that is our beta site and going through and clicking through and showing the functionality. And again, it is a live site, so she will actually show workflows and what those look like. Will then show us where we're going on the road. Again, we're traveling a lot to try to make sure people are able to see ClassIT Plus. So we'll have tablets with us in addition to talk about the classification changes. And then at the end, we'll leave some time for live Q&A where we want to answer any questions you may have about ClassIT Plus itself. Some of the important dates. So April 21st, that's obviously one in the past. We made the NMFC lookup tool available. If you haven't done so or heard about this, this was a tool that we made available. Wasn't something that we planned to do. But we started hearing a lot from the carriers and the brokers that, hey, we really need something to help communicate with shippers where we could put in item numbers, and look up specific commodities. And with that, we can see what's changing in 2025-1. And that's exactly what the lookup tool does. So we'll give you the website for that, and so that you can look to see register and look up those numbers. It doesn't have anything other than 2025-1, but it'll tell you, yes, it's changing. It'll tell you if what the new number is. If it's got a new number, it'll tell you if it's got for example, an additional stowability liability, or if it's not part of the docket. So we'll go through that. On May 13th, we're excited because that's when the UI beta kickoff is. So at that point, all our major defects are fixed, and our documentation is in at the stage where it's ready for production, and we're getting feedback. So we've got customers signed up for beta, and we're kicking off the beta, and we're seeking customer feedback. On July 15th, that is when ClassIT Plus is released. So customers will start utilizing that with the 2025-1 docket, and it is open for business. And then on July 19th, the NMFC data changes are effective. So, it seems like we've been planning this for quite a while, and these dates have always been sort of far off. But now, as we look at it, we're only a few months off. So, we are moving towards these dates, and we are super excited as far as the state of the product and excited to show you where it's at today. All right, some of the key resources. So I mentioned NMFC data changes. So if you go to this website, you can look at the docket, you can look at all the things that we have as far as resources. It'll show you shipper tools. It'll show you some of the docket itself. It'll show you if you're a broker, some of the tools that we have. It's just a plethora of resources that we have available. It'll give you a tour of ClassIT Plus, but it really focuses on the docket changes and gives you information on what you need to know. What types of conversations, if you're a carrier, you need to have with your shipper. If you're a shipper, the types of things that you need to think about as far as packaging, etc. So please visit the website. The NMFC item lookup tool I mentioned before, that's getclassification.com. That is a website, like I said, we created out of the requests of our members. Wasn't, again, something we expected to do, but we did it because we saw a need. We're happy to report we've got over 4,000 registered users. So it has turned into a very popular website. And we're really excited because there's getting a lot of use out of it. We see hundreds of people looking at it every day and thousands of items being looked at up. And so, this is not something we charge for. This is a free tool. So we want people to be prepared for the docket changes. So please take a look at that at getclassification.com. And then classitplus.com, that's our website. So you'll see a countdown clock there, in addition to some other resources. So these are the three resources that you really want to be aware of. And you can also sign up for some updates. You'll also see things like KBs, articles. If you are planning to use our APIs, we've already released a lot of API documentation that folks are taking advantage of. All right, on the next slide. So, Sean, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about some of the highlights of ClassIT Plus.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. So my team and I have been getting grease on our knuckles, turning wrenches on code, and we're actually assembling the nuts and bolts of ClassIT Plus. So I am gonna be looking at this with you guys from a more technical perspective, and let's start bouncing through some of these things here. Obviously, we have specifically designed this for the 2025-1 changes. Yeah, that's the data we're using to build everything off of as our foundation, all our load testing, all our tuning and optimization. All the code is standing on that as a foundation. So it is built for it. As far as being an all-in-one solution for accessing classification data, the search is a whole new generation of technology that we're building off of here. It is very similar to the way you might experience your web browser, Google. Something along those lines, where you can freeform match text. We've got uh, pluralization. We've got fuzzy matching on common misspellings. It's really going to be a boost in how we perform these searches. So everything is built from the ground up. We're using the best-in-class Azure cloud security. Everything we're building is cloud-based. It's geographically distributed, so we're going to be on both coasts. Everything is completely scalable based on demand. So the busier we get, the bigger we get. We're building based on a NoSQL database for the document-centric classification stuff. That'll be redundantly stored and scalable. The other information like the profiles, the comments, the synonyms, the favorites, the search history, all this great stuff that Holly's going to show you in a moment. That's all in a traditional SQL database, also scalable, also redundantly located. Everything that we're building is designed for speed and scalability, and just has to be uninterruptible. So let's see, keeping your systems updated should be no problem because everything we have is real time and as up to date as it can get. So if you're coming to our website, the API, however you're accessing us, you are getting up to the second whatever the data is. Let's see what else we have on this list. Let me find my place again. Notifications of the changes. So that's a whole new thing. We've got an entire suite of notifications that you can customize, that what you do want to receive, what you don't want to receive, based on changes in the classifications, based on activity within your own company using our systems. So it's a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited about what we've been building here, and I think everyone's really going to enjoy it using it as much as you can enjoy using a classification system lookup tool. Let's see, makes collaboration simple and convenient. Like I mentioned, and Holly's about to show you, comments on anything, synonyms, favorites, the searches, everything is shareable. Everything is designed to be bundled into this company commonplace or at a team level. You can really, it's almost like a social network of how we're wiring everything together in the back end here. So it creates this fabric that really does make collaboration a snap. Um, and it's customizable to fit your needs. We sell obviously different tiers of volume. We have different mechanisms for accessing the information. We will meet your needs no matter how you slice it. So that's what I've got to say about this. Holly, do you want to give everyone a tour of the main event?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean. Let me just give me a second to get started here and share my screen. All right, everyone should be seeing my screen now. Yes, awesome. I was just taking a quick peek at the questions, and the first thing I want to walk through, I was going to save this for the end, but it's already been asked, is how can you access our API documentation or any of our ClassIT Plus documentation? So there are actually several ways you can access it. Once ClassIT Plus launches, you can actually access it from the footer here, clicking on Help Center. But until that time, to access our current API documentation, you can go to nmfta.org, click on Contact, and then click Search Our Knowledge Base. Click ClassIT Plus, and it is the very first section under ClassIT Plus. And this is all of the API documentation that we have. We have numerous articles available, so please go out there and take a look. And there are some items that you'll see here, doc updates coming soon. Keep checking back. We're going to have additional updates coming as the weeks go on and by the end of the month. So we're really excited about this. This Help Center will be where you access all of the knowledge base articles for ClassIT Plus once it is launched. So again, just wanted to answer that question real quickly for you. I see that there were some questions about the NMFC item lookup tool as well, and we will circle back to those at the end. So let's just get started. So what you're looking at here is the dashboard. This is the centralized hub for ClassIT Plus. It is uniquely designed and specific to you and your login. So anything you see here and anything you customize is for you. And so when I say customize, what does that mean, right? You just simply click on the customize tile option here and it opens up a left panel that allows you to determine what tiles are displayed on the dashboard. And each tile represents a feature. So if I do not want to see comments or synonyms, I simply unpin them. You can see in the background here, it refreshed, and now those two tiles are gone. I can simply unpin or pin them back in, and they will populate and the dashboard will refresh. If I want my tiles to be organized in a certain way, I can simply drag and drop my tiles so that I can have them in the order that I want. And everything automatically refreshes and saves in the background. So there's no need to take that additional step to save or anything like that. Immediately, it just refreshes and saves. And again, those settings are specific to you and your login. So like I said, this dashboard is the hub. It is your central location for everything. Each tile represents a feature within ClassIT Plus. You'll see here at the top, you have the search tile. This, I don't know if you remember, let's go back. The search tile is not listed here as customizable. Why is that? Because it's always there. We never want you to remove the search tile. Why would we want you to do that? Search is the #1 feature for ClassIT Plus. So it will always be located at the top of your dashboard. The favorites, search history, synonyms, comments, your company common, and NMFC book, these tiles are all customizable by you, and they lead, like I said, to a specific feature. These tiles are like a little snapshot, right? So if you want to see more, you just simply click more and the tile will expand. And again, this tile is still a snapshot. You see it's not providing everything. You see this search icon, I can click on that and immediately search on the item. I can click see less and then my dashboard kind of shrinks back to normal. If I click on the tile header, it takes me directly to that feature's my page. So these are my favorites. So these, sorry, these tiles all represent items that I've searched for and I've favorited. So it's just it's a centralized location for accessing all of my favorites. I apologize. Let me just cough 1 second. Apologize about that. So here we are at the My Favorites. Like I said, this is where you'll find all of your favorites. These are your items that you've searched for. They're your favorites. One thing that you'll notice here is you'll notice like a color. Some of the tiles have some color to them, right? So it's like, what do these colors mean, Holly? So when you see the different colors, I wanted to sort here by item number so I could bring some additional colors up to the top. This red color, you see how I have this bell icon and then this kind of light tan color, this bell icon? Well, this bell icon represents yet another feature. So every time we make updates to the data so for example, 2025-1, 2025-2, every time we have a new supplement that's issued and becomes effective, these bell icons represent a change. So anytime in my favorites, in my search history, you'll see this throughout ClassIT Plus, this bell icon represents a what's new change. The
Hey,
color,
Holly, real
yes.
quick, if you're not able to see Holly's screen on the top, you should see a toolbar. It says Aaron's screen and Holly Taylor's screen. You just have to select where it says Holly Taylor's screen. So everybody should see Holly's screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll go back to the dashboard just real quick.
So if you don't see it, let us know in the chat in the Q&A, but you should see a tab that says Holly Taylor screen. Sorry, Holly.
No worries. No, thank you. I love repeating myself. It's a joke. I tend to repeat myself 3 times. So I'll do a truncated version. So this is the dashboard, like I said earlier. I'm just going to show that customized tile panel one more time for those who were unable to see earlier. I can simply pin and unpin the tiles, and you see how it refreshes in the background. And then if I want them to become part of my dashboard again, I simply pin them again, and I can drag the order in which they are displayed as well. So you can see as I'm dragging them around, the dashboard refreshes in the background. And then you click see more on the tile to see more of the information, see less. And then you click on the header to actually go to the My page, which is associated with that feature. For this one, it is My Favorites. So like I was discussing, this What's New feature, you'll see throughout ClassIT Plus. And if you click on the bell icon, it'll actually take you to the What's New page. So this What's New page is a list of all the changes that are going to be effective with the latest supplement. So we have what's been created, what's been amended or changed, and what's been canceled. And if you have something that's been canceled with a reference, meaning it's been replaced by another item, we will actually tell you the item that replaces it. And so again, this bell icon will take you to this What's New page. So the great thing about this What's New feature is that if you go into your user profile, right under here you have these What's New notifications. By default, you will receive the online notification. The online notification is that bell. You see it in several different places. You'll see it up here in the right corner of the screen. That's telling you that something that is in My Favorites has changed. It's either been canceled, it's changed in some way, and it's just a notification for me to take a look. When I go to each individual page as we continue with this demo, you'll see that bell icon throughout the interface. If you want to receive email notifications, which means anytime that one of my favorites, something that I'm following has changed, then I will actually get an email notification. So I can also toggle that on as well so that I get notifications in both places. Our goal here is to make sure that you're notified of the changes. So I would say one of the great things about ClassIT Plus is we really have built this around your needs. And so let's start with search, because I think that's what we're all here for, is to see the innovations with search. So I'm just going to search on a number. I'm going to search on ice cream makers. And you see here how I get my suggestions as I started to type. Let me back out of this a little bit. And you can see how the suggestions start to kind of drill down as I type. So as I start entering more, then that's when I get my specific suggestion. And bam, I get the result I want. And this is, this should look very familiar to you. We didn't want to change everything about the current ClassIT. You're still going to have very similar layout for search results, so it's familiar with you. But one of the things that is new is we have these additional icons, these additional options. So you can add a comment to any one of these items. You can favorite it, and then I'll show you later what the calculator does. But right now, let's focus on this favorite. So I'm going to add this as a favorite. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5. And then when I go back to my favorites, now I can access my favorites from the dashboard. I can also access my favorites from the My Resources menu. This is exactly what it says, My Resources. Every page that's mine, everything that I can customize, that's mine. That's where I'm going to come to My Resources. So I can go to my favorites, and then I can look and I can find the 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5. And I can also see, what does this bell icon mean? It means that something has changed in the latest supplement. So I want to be aware of that. Another great feature that you'll see throughout the application is the ability to both share and comment. So let's focus with the comments first. So anywhere you see this little comment icon, which you just saw in search, and now you're seeing it here in My Favorites, you can click on this and you can add a comment. So I'm just going to be like, this is a test comment, and I can post that. So this comment is personal to me. Again, this comment is just for me. It's saved with my login. However, if my company admin has enabled a company comment, which I'm going to go into in a minute, I can actually share this comment with other members of my team. So anyone else in my company who has access to ClassIT Plus, I can share this comment to my company common, and we can have a conversation back and forth about this item. You can enter, specific details about the account, about the, special rules or processes that you need to follow for the specific item. You can share with each other right here in ClassIT Plus. Let's take a quick look at those company settings. Those company settings are only accessible by your company admin. Your company admin, sorry, is going to come in here, and they're going to set up and establish what your company can do in ClassIT Plus. And one of the main things that you can do is you can have this company common. You can have a company common with or without a team view. And essentially the team view is just that. It's allowing you to set up teams within your company common that specific users can access. You'll have a view that's an all company view that everyone can see, but then you'll have unique views that are specific to those users affiliated with that team. So let's take a quick look at some of these other features that can be shared and commented, and just really you can leverage them for yourself or share to the company common. Search history. Sean mentioned that they're building this search engine to be very comfortable and familiar, very modern, very much like the common web browsers that we use. And one of the most common features that you see when you go out to your web browser is this search history, this concept of search history. So we've brought that to ClassIT Plus. So as you search and as you go through and you continuously search every day, we're going to be building your search history. And I think one of the great things that we do is, instead of being duplicative and repetitive, we actually refresh the search history so that you always see the latest and greatest search. So if I were to search 1231135 every day this week, I'm only going to see the search in my search history, my latest search from today. And why do we do that? We do that to get rid of duplicates. So we always want to make what you've been doing most recently what you see. And the most common searches are always at the forefront. So that way, if you know that the last time you searched for something was yesterday, you find it immediately, it's at the top of your list. So this is a really great feature. And I think for me personally, I'm always forgetting, like last week I found something and I remember. So it's really great to see this and to have this available. And when you hover over each item in your search history, you should see some repetitive nature, something that looks the same as what we looked at for my favorites. These icons, the favorite, the share, the delete, the comments, and the what's new, and even the search, these are repeated throughout ClassIT Plus. It's making ClassIT Plus simple and intuitive so that you don't have to read a massive, user manual just to understand each feature. So again, if I want to make something a favorite, even my search history I can make. You can see here I have all of these are favorites. If I want to unfavorite this, I simply click on the star and it will be removed from my favorites. If I want to add it back, I just click it and it's added again. You can see here, I have not favorited this item. So that's why I have the star like this. I just click it and it becomes a favorite. Something that is shared. Let me share this to my company common. So I can share it, and I'm going to share it to the whole company, and I'm going to say yes. So when I share it, this share icon now becomes an unshare. So when you're talking about unsharing something from the company common, there's only two people who can unshare something. The person who originally shared it can unshare it from any of the pages from which they shared it, as well as from the company common. And then the company admin themselves can also unshare something. So we want to build a little bit of a protective nature around, like a little protective wall around sharing, but we also want to build some administrative functions into it so that the company admin can go in and clean up something if for some reason someone's no longer a user, they can go in and clean up something that they had previously shared. If I want to delete or clean up my search history, I can simply click the delete icon and this singular line will go away. I can also delete all and it'll clear my history. Just like our common web browsers we use every day, I can clear my history and start fresh. Let's see, down here, you'll see this load more button throughout the application. Essentially what we're doing here is we're building a scrollable page. So if anyone is a user of our current ClassIT, everything is paged. So next page, next page, next page. You'll see, I'm going to dive into this a little bit more for search, but you'll see instead of doing next page, next page, next page, we're doing load more so that the page just becomes a scrollable page so that it's just continuous and it's much easier to navigate. Let's go back to the dashboard. Again, I'm always coming back to the dashboard. It is my main hub for everything. We talked about favorites, search history. We talked about comments a bit, but let me dive into this comments. These are my comments. So these are all the comments that I've made throughout the application, and you can see them here. And again, this should all start to look very familiar to you. The delete. Obviously, we now have an edit icon so that we can edit the comment. The share, you can actually make it a favorite. One thing that you'll notice here is when something is shared, you can hover over this like group icon or people icon, and it'll actually tell you who shared it and when. So you'll see that in a couple of different places as well. So let's go back and let's take a deeper dive into, let's take a look at synonyms. So synonyms is a concept, it's a feature that we've brought forward from ClassIT, from the current ClassIT, and it works exactly the same way. You can set up this linkage between a casual term and the official term to make your life easier, to make searching easier. You can then share those synonyms with your company and see again here, I can see that this was shared with me. And you can edit your synonym, you can make a comment, and you can delete it. So let's just enter something. I love those little arm floaties that kids use. I think they're adorable. And I know that that's a type of life preserver. So I know that that number is 1111205. And so I can add this synonym. And so now anytime that I search for floaties, I will get 111205. So if I go back to search and I just search on floaties, you see here, my suggestion is immediately what I entered as my synonym. And then again, here I can add a comment. I can add a comment directly from my search results. So another test comment from search. I don't have to favorite this item to add a comment. So I can add a comment. I can then share it with the company. I can have conversations about this item, even though this item is not one of my favorites. So let me go back to synonyms, and you'll see this like loading effect right now. I just want you guys to know we're technically still in alpha phase. We start beta next week. Sean and his team, they're going to be putting a lot more performance initiatives behind this as we get closer to production. So you're going to see some of that tiling when we load right now, but that will not be there as we move forward. So back here on the synonyms, on the My Synonyms page, I want to point out this built-in global synonyms list. So this built-in global synonyms list has been around for decades. It is something that our current ClassIT has, and essentially it's just common synonyms that are standard across the board, and we include them and have them built into ClassIT and ClassIT Plus. So as you're searching here, you notice here, as you're scrolling here, you notice that you have this little search icon. So if you do see something that you want to search on, you just click on it and it takes you right there. So again, very intuitive, really easy to use. Let me take a breath here. Company common. So as we talked about earlier, if your company admin enables the company common, you and everyone else within your company who has a license for ClassIT Plus will be able to share information to this company common. You'll be able to share your favorites, you'll be able to share your history and your bookmarks and your synonyms. We'll get to bookmarks in a second. So I just wanted to kind of point this out that this is where you'll go for that that's this is like the company common, the company hub, right? This is where you'll go when you've shared something. Let's take a jump over to the NMFC book section. So this is a tile on your dashboard. You can also access it from My Resources. This NMFC book page is where you can kind of browse around, you can download, and you can even bookmark PDFs that are affiliated with the book or the data, right? We all think in terms of the old school book that we used to have floating around. Some of us still use that book. And so that book encompasses a bunch of printed materials that is still very valuable and people like to access. You know, we have the indexes, we have rules and specifications for numbered packages, we have some carrier procedures and best practices, we even have the explanation of abbreviation and reference marks. All of these are PDFs that when you click on the See More option, it'll open up and it'll list the PDF. Once you see the PDF, you can hover over it and you'll see that I can then bookmark it or I can download it. If I want to bookmark it, it then becomes part of my bookmarked list on the NMFC book page. The bookmark feature is exactly like the favorites feature, but we got a little cute with this because it's in a book, we're bookmarking it. And so I really love that. I'm a bit of a book nerd, so blame me for that one, but I love it. And we can access our supplements from here as well. So right now, you know, we have limited data loaded right now, but you'll come here to access the supplements. And you can, again, you can download and bookmark them, and then they will be available on the NMFC book page. You can see up here at the top the bookmarks. So you'll notice that as items become bookmarked, you can then share them and you can comment them. You cannot share or comment until it's bookmarked. So if you do share something, again, you can share it to your company common. You also have access to the public docket and the disposition bulletin. As a subscriber to ClassIT Plus, you also get access to the expanded version of the disposition bulletin, which is that full spreadsheet. One thing I want to point out is when you go to the What's New page, you will actually see this toggle right here. It says Table View. This table view is like a duplicate of our old school, you know, disposition bulletin Excel spreadsheet. So that spreadsheet is right here. So for the on the What's New page, you'll actually be able to view this disposition bulletin, all the What's New changes as this table view. You'll also be able to download it as well, so that you can access it the same way. But you can also access the downloadable version of the spreadsheet from the NMFC book as well.
Hey, Holly,
Yes.
I'll let you catch your breath.
Thanks.
And let's answer some quick questions. So I did get some questions on Git classification as far as Norton blocking us. So we petitioned Norton. So when we first launched it, it became so active that Norton actually blocked us. We petitioned Norton. They released the block, was our understanding, and a lot of the people that were blocked got unblocked. It looks like there is a module within Norton that must still be blocking us. So a few folks I asked to email me, so I've gotten 2 emails. So we'll reach out to them. I also sent some instructions in the email to make sure it's whitelisted on your all side, but we'll also reach out to Norton. But it looks like it may be something where a whitelist may need to happen on your side, but we'll also do some things on our side. But we had petitioned and had received successful confirmation on our side that that petition had been reviewed and was successful. Some other questions that we got, do you need to be a member of NMFTA to get ClassIT Plus? And the answer is no, you don't. If you are, you do receive a discount. And our price list, I sent a link to it. It's on a press release, but it's also on our website on the NMFC changes. You can see our price list. We do make public, so it's out there. And if you're a member, you do get a discount. The next question is, will Class IT Plus be added on to the current Class IT, or is it a standalone product? And it is a separate new website. We're going to leave the current Class IT up for a while, and we will transition users over, but both websites will be up at the same time as customers transition over. And we're doing that for a reason, but it will be, even though it's both from NMFTA, we're almost handling it as two different products. It's a lot of changes in the docket, so we're really managing it as two different products. You'll see some familiar functionality, but it's such a different architecture, such a different development effort, and just so different. That's the way that we're handling it. Um, Will our current Class IT login work for Class IT Plus? Holly, I'll let you talk a little bit about the transition plan for a customer, or the transition journey for a customer.
Absolutely. So if you are a current Class IT subscriber, your current login will no longer work will not work for Class IT Plus. So what's going to happen is, starting in about a week or two, you'll start to receive notifications from us. We're going to send out some communications starting in mid-May through the end of June, and it's going to provide you with those next steps. And those next steps are so simple. Essentially, we're going to give you the information you need. You're going to get a link from us so that you can activate your Okta login, because we do use Okta for login. And so it's a 30-second process to go in to activate your Okta login, and then once that's complete, you'll be able to log into Class IT Plus. You will no longer be allowed to share or be able to share logins because we are using Okta. So I know some of our current subscribers might share their login amongst many people or a couple of people. So if that is a situation that you're in, just know that once Class IT Plus launches, you can purchase those additional licenses for those users so they can have their own unique login. But again, we will start sending out communications within the next week or two, and then through the end of June, to keep everyone in the loop and make sure we're all ready for July. And if you are a current Class IT subscriber, you will automatically transition over to Class IT Plus. We will honor your product until its expiration date. So you will actually get access for Class IT Plus in July through your expiration date. And if you love it, you want to keep using it, then you'll just renew and you'll continue using it.
Thanks, Holly. These sessions are recorded, and we will post the recordings within a few days. And you can see not only this webinar, but also the previous webinars on our website at the NMFC changes. And you can also, like I said, see any of the ones that we've done on Class IT Plus, but on the docket itself. Can you share the link to order Class IT? I'm assuming that if we sign up for Class IT, it converts to Class IT Plus. And the answer is yeah. If you order Class IT, it does convert to Class IT Plus. And we do have a lot of people that are doing that. And really what we do, for some people, depending on what they're doing, whether or not they're doing the bundles, whether or not they're doing the APIs, how many licensing they're getting. We charge them whatever's the cheapest price, and then we roll them over. And so, absolutely, you can order it now, and then it just rolls over. And so, if you can either email us or call us, and we'll provide that email at the end to email us, and we will reach out to you right away to order Class IT, and then it converts to Class IT Plus. The next question is got to do with, let's see. Um, when you enter a synonym, does it stay associated with the items if the code changes in the future?
So that'll be part of a warning that we will, that's a really good question. So that'll be part of a warning. So again, that'll fall under the what's new. And if that item is replaced, then you'll get notification that that item has been canceled and you will want to take action to edit your synonym to make sure that it's directed to the correct item.
Okay. And we spend a lot of time, I know when I first joined, we got a question related to the search. The search doesn't use layman terms in the existing class IT. So, one of our big focus points was, making the search so that I want to use the word Google. It's a bit more Google-like. So can you talk about how the search works as far as, it checking for spelling, it checking for plurals, and it just being a little bit more user friendly?
Yeah, I can talk to the simple terms to that, and then Sean, you want to jump in for the technical. So exactly right. We will you saw as you type, we offer suggestions. And if you misspell something, we're going to make a best guess and we're going to recognize that it's misspelled and we're going to offer you a suggestion that we think is the correct spelling. If you add an S to something or it's supposed to be plural, but you don't add the S. Again, it's a smart suggestion. We're going to make those suggestions off of what we believe you are entering. So I know that there's more technical background stuff to that, and Sean can talk to that. But yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Sure. So we're using some stuff that's baked into they call it AI. I don't know if that's maybe a stretch to use this buzzword, but we are using some of the built-in Mongo database pluralization functionality. So it'll match up words automatically. Now, the limitation that was explained to us was that we might run into an issue where knife and knives are not quite going to match based on pluralization because it's not just adding S's and to the end of it. However, because we're also doing the fuzzy matching on misspellings, we're allowing for a single character difference to get us search results as well and finding words that are off by one character. It happens that the example I'm choosing, knife and knife, actually are off by one letter, so it would still find it. and so really what we're bringing to bear are some of this next generation stuff that's just baked into the new systems that we have available to us.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And let's see. Some questions about the beta. The beta is full right now, but if you email us, we can put you on a wait list. And if somebody drops out of the beta or isn't participating, we can make sure to reach out to you. So if you are interested, email us. Right now the beta is full, but if you are interested, please feel to reach out to us. All right, Holly, I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to touch on two more features. Well, a little bit more on the search. You'll notice here when you click in search, you get this current NMFC content option. Essentially, what that allows is for you to search by a specific date, a date range, like a supplement's date range, a specific supplement, or even the docket. We're just trying to give you the ability to search the data at a specific point in time. So that's what these options are about, which I think are fantastic. Another interesting feature is that I like to call it like a simple search. When you click search, you saw earlier it brings up like the single best result. But if I know that lumber is you see there's a lot of suggestions for lumber. If I want to see all of that in a detailed layout, I click detailed search and it provides me this tabbed layout so I can see everywhere that the word lumber shows up and I'll be like, oh, this is the one I was looking for. And so this is very similar to the way ClassIT searches now. So we're giving you the best of both worlds. We're giving you that simplified, that direct search result, our best guess effort. And then we're also giving you the ability to have this like detailed search where you can see where that item number, where that keyword, where that description is located everywhere throughout. So just some pretty cool features with search. We've kind of taken it to that next level beyond that flat search that we have in our current ClassIT. The other thing I want to touch on is just the calculator really quick. So we are still offering a basic calculator. We have the basic density, and then we have an item 680 note 2A, 2B, and 2C. And we've redesigned the calculator. The functionality is still the same as it is in the current ClassIT. However, we have added something very cool. So you'll see here, I have this reference item. So earlier I clicked on the calculator and this was the item, but let's say that this is empty and I want to search for an item because I want to reference this item as I'm going through and looking at my calculation. So I can actually search for this. I can click on it and I can select it for a reference. And now you see that all of the classes, all of the sub-levels are going to be displayed here. And as I go through my density calculations, I have this as a reference. So we're not going to provide you we're not going to tell you what class to use based on your calculations, but we are going to provide this reference so it's easy for you to see everything all in one place. You can also from search actually access this calculator. So if I go and I search, if I click on the more options icon over here, I can see this calculator. And when I click on the calculator, this item is preloaded into the reference area of the calculator. So again, just a really cool connection between search and the calculator. And then that's pretty much the end of my demo here. But one last thing I wanted to touch on, Joe mentioned contacting us. NMFTA.org contact, you can submit a form to contact us. You have our knowledge base if you're looking for more information. So if you need to get a hold of us, definitely reach out. And I believe that is the end of my demo. So let's jump back and take some more questions.
Okay. So thanks to Aaron, he has figured out a way to whitelist from the app. So Aaron, I appreciate it. So if you open up Norton under security, under advanced, there's something called Safe Web where you can customize your protection of web while browsing. You click on settings and then there's an exclusions tab. What that will do is create a whitelist. And then if you click on the add button and then just add the website, www.getclassification.com. And then once you add that web page, that is whitelisting our website. Norton will stop blacklisting it, and you should be good to go. So thank you, Aaron. We do not have Safe Web, so that will make it so that you are able to control that rather than having to reach out to your IT department. So I appreciate that. So a couple questions. What exactly is the beta? And so, that's a really good question. So for some people, beta is like a test drive of the functionality. For some people, it's hey, it's not completely ready, go kind of test it. For us, beta is very experienced users. It is code complete. It is ready. And we want real world testers to go through scenarios that maybe we have not thought about. And so beta is just production software getting time in a production environment just to flush out any issues that we may see prior to us getting it in front of 100,000 users. So it's really an experience an opportunity for the software to go out there prior to production. What is the data for users to need an Okta login? So Sean, do you want to take that?
Having trouble with my mute button. All right. Well, in order to set up an Okta login, we really just need your name and an email address. And that's the extent of what creates an Okta login.
Okay. The next question, if we're unable to locate our specific item, what would be the best course of action to get that identified? And I can answer that. We do have a classification department, and you can email us, and their lead time is typically it depends, but it's typically a week or so, and they can kick off a research project, and it really depends on the complexity of it. But part of what NMFTA does will research a project and kick off a research project. So if we can't, if you can't locate an item and it's there, obviously we'll turn that around real quick. But if it's something we have to research, we will kick off that project. The beta date, again, beta kicks off on Tuesday, a week from today. The next question that we've got is, so when you run it, if someone is going to get classification.com and they search for something, it says handling stowability and liability indicator added. I think the question is, what does that mean? Holly, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, that's simply that indicator is literally a notification for you to take into consideration any specific handling, stowing, and liability needs when it comes to classifying this specific item. So they just went through, the classification team did a lot of research and went through and identified the items that would apply to this scenario.
Okay. So ClassIT is launched on the 15th. The docket goes live on the 19th. And so one of the questions is, when must we stop using the old ClassIT? That's a complicated question. Holly, I'll kind of put you on the spot, then I can help answer. But what's some of the advice we give on transitioning? And it's not really transitioning from the old ClassIT to the new, but really transitioning from the old docket to the new docket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about your processes, your business, and your partners, whoever you do business with. The 2025-1 data will only be available in ClassIT Plus. So if your company, your processes, your partners, the people, your customers, if they start transitioning over to the 2025-1 changes and you're still using the old ClassIT and getting 2024 information, then you will be at risk for misclassifications, freight disputes. You're going to put yourself at risk for having, extra administrative work down the road, maybe some, extra fees here and there. So essentially, it really is up to you, your processes, your partners, and your customers to transition over to the most current data, the most accurate data, as soon as you're able to. Again, ClassIT Plus is the only place where you'll find the new data, the 2025-1, the 2024 data. That is what will be in the current ClassIT. We are not updating the current ClassIT with 2025-1.
Okay. Does the calculator include metric?
Yes.
Okay. That's a good question. When I got it, I was like, one that we hadn't discussed. So very good. License. So I'm the primary user. If I'm on vacation, my company would need to purchase another license for someone else to use the program. And the answer is yes. We do use Okta, and part of that is for security. We want to use that as a level of security from a cybersecurity perspective, and it is per user, not per machine. And so in that case, yeah, you would want to have 2 users that could log in. And so that would be two licenses in that case. Are you able to pop the NMFC out like you can on the current system? I don't, do you understand that one, Holly?
I do not understand that question.
Okay, so if you ask that, if you want to,
Oh, I think I do. Sorry, no, I think
I
I
mean,
do
like in the
Okay.
understand.
modal windows.
Yes, the answer is yes, and I apologize. I should have demoed that. Yes, absolutely. So when you're in search results, you can actually click on the item number. It'll pop up a separate dialog box with just that information.
okay.
You'll be able to email and print that information. It'll also show that item's history. I cannot believe this is a very good question. I can't believe I forgot to show this. It'll show that item's history. We show up to 1 year's worth of history in that pop-up. So if an item has changed within the last 12 months, you'll see the history on that pop-up as well. So absolutely.
Okay. All right, Holly. So that's all the questions. So ClassIT Plus on the road. If you go to our website, you can see where we're going to be at through 2025. And again, stop by. We can show you the demos, answer any additional questions, and see the changes. Then on the next slide.
Yeah, the next slide is just ending it out with the Q&A again. So
Yeah.
classitplus.com, check us out, subscribe, learn more. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.